What's up guys? Last week I made a video about product photography using watches, using one of my watches. And last week I said that this week that I would go into more detail and use more props and stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I do apologise about the lighting. I'll see if it's better in here. Turn this one on as well. As I was saying, I'm going to be talking you through my process on top of actually doing the process itself. So, to start off with, as most stuff starts, you need to get some inspiration for your shoot. So I went to Pinterest and I just googled watch photography. And then after getting a couple of ideas from there, I googled blue watch photography because my watch is blue. And from there, I saw that a lot of people used stuff like a really popular thing for watch photography, which I was shocked, which I was a little bit surprised at, was notepads and stationery and stuff like that. On top of that, you also had stuff like clothing and materials like shirts or suit jackets and stuff like that. On top of that, there was also a load of jewellery, so like cufflinks if it's a man's watch, or earrings or necklaces if it's a woman's watch, or bangles. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be looking through my wardrobe and trying to find different there we go. I've got a load of bracelets and bangles and beads and stuff like that, which are all blue, which should go well with it. I know that Rachel has got a load of jewellery in her wardrobe, so I can use that. As well as all of that, this is really bad lighting. One sec. Here we go. Put that there. Now you can see my face. On top of that, I was also looking at colour wheels and complementary colours for different colours. Specifically looking at blue ones, and basic colour theory suggests that more warmer tones like your oranges, your browns, your reds, your yellows are relatively complementary colours to blues. So that's what I'm looking for now. I'm looking for little bracelets and beads and stuff like that that'll either go into the idea of a blue bead or a more warmer colour like a brown or an orangey kind of a tone, or somewhere that mixes the two together. On top of that, I'm going to be looking through my wardrobe to try and find shirts, jackets that are again blue or brown or orangey. Could have sworn I had a set of beads that was blue as well, but can't find it. So I've set up downstairs. I've got my dining room table, because last time I did my coffee table, however, I found that the wood on there is was very shiny, which was good for some of the shots but not good for most of it. It's veneer wood, my coffee table, whereas my dining room table is solid, genuine wood. At least I think it is. It's heavy enough to be it. So I've moved that, and then I've also brought down a load of shirts, bracelets, a belt, some wallets, and a pair of brown shoes to kind of go with that. And it's very dark, I can only apologise. I'm going to start off with going for like a more dress kind of a vibe, so I'm going to go grab some cufflinks from upstairs because that's the one thing I forgot. I'm also going to be using my white shirt, I'm going to be using my belt, my shoes. I'm going to start there and see where I go from there. One thing that I picked up on, I'll put you down. One thing I thought about just while I was putting everything together, the metal accents on my watch are all silver or like steel, so like a silvery kind of a colour. I've got a load of brown belts which would go well with the warmer tones. However, most of my I'm just not in focus here, am I? That'll be why. You're in manual focus. There we go. Whereas most of my belts, my brown belts at least, all have bronze buckles, whereas this is the only one with like a silvery kind of a buckle. So I'm going to be using this belt on top of all the other stuff to kind of like bring it together for that cohesiveness between everything. Now the lights I'm going to be using for this first shoot is going to be my Releno umbrella light. This big boy. Now the bad thing about this light, there's a couple of downsides to this light. It's a cheap light, so it's good for, it was good for a first light. However, I'm finding that issues with it. My main one is that it has to be plugged in, and the other bad thing is the controls itself is just on and off. No control over temperature, no control over intensity of the light. It is literally just, you take a bulb, you stick it in, and you turn it on. Which, to be honest, for the price that I paid for it, I got 2 of them, and it came with the stands, the bulbs, the actual umbrella itself, and a diffuser. So for the price that I paid for it, I cannot really be complaining. Beggars can't be choosers and all of that. However, moving forwards, when I get my next bigger light, I will be looking for a light that has its own power source, so I don't need to be plugging it in, and more control over the light settings. Now the other light that I'm going to be using as a fill light is going to be the Viltrox L116T. That means anything to anyone. It's basically just this small panel LED light which fills the space quite nicely, and putting that on the tripod for my other boom light. Now the reason I'm not using my second, what's that called? Umbrella light is because my bulb for my other umbrella light smashed a couple months ago. And I've yet to pick up a new bulb for it. I know it's very easy to pick up a bulb, but I just keep forgetting to do it. So I'm going to be using this in its place, and to be honest, this works quite nicely against it because you got your on-off switch, but this one has full control over the intensity and good control over the heat of it as well. So if I want my secondary light to have a little bit more of a warmer tone than my primary light, then I can do that. And on top of that, you know I'm going to be using my Aputure MC to fill in any gaps as a feature light, just to cast a little bit more light if I need it. So yeah, so let's get into actually setting the table, making sure it all looks nice. I'll go get the watch, I'll bring it down, and we'll just get started. Let's get to it. Alright, so I'm going to be starting with the base. I'm starting with my white shirt on the bottom to kind of give that clean base, but if I just leave the shirt there and just shoot on any random part of it, it'll just look like I'm shooting on my white backdrop that I used last week. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to make sure that the buttons are in frame. My audience will know for a fact that the thing that everything is on top of is a shirt. Let's put the star of the show in the actual frame first, shall we? So what I'm doing now is I'm just building my frame around this central subject, putting like the belt, draping that across, trying to make like interesting lines and shapes, something that will catch an eye, something that will draw someone's attention. And I'll put the shoes on this side. What I'm doing is I'm creating a line of action that everything's following, except for the buttons of the shirt, which is kind of cutting across it. And hopefully that'll look good. You see, now my issue here is it's a lot of browns and and obviously the white from the t-shirt, but there's nothing that's tying the watch into it. There's nothing that's, I'll come down so you can actually see my face when I'm talking. There's nothing that's tying the blue in together. So what I'm going to do, I know I said I was going for more of a formal dress shirt kind of a thing, but I mean, I'm going to take some small bracelets. So I've got this rubber bracelets that charities give out, and I've got this rope one with a nice silver hook on the end, and we're going to place that nearby just to give some form of character to it, because yes, it is important to show that what you're selling does have a target audience, but you also want to have a little bit of character to your shot. So maybe the guy who's putting this outfit together, yes, knows that he's going to a formal dinner or whatever, but also likes having a little bit of character to his outfits. Now I need to figure out the lighting for it. Make sure the light is pointing towards the watch and not just the shirt. Bring this light in a bit as well. Okay. Yeah. So what I've found there is my just ran up the stairs. What I found there is my main 2 light setups. The second light was a little bit too harsh on the shot. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another stand from my backdrop kit and this thing here, which is an amazing piece of kit that every photographer and videographer should have in their bag, which is this 4-in-1 diffuser. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to shine this through the diffuser, or shine the light through this, and then hopefully that'll fix my problem. On top of that, it also has a reflector as well, so failing the diffuser, I can point the light at the reflector and have that bounce back onto my subject to create a little bit more of a subtle light. Put you there. Yeah, so putting that there, and then I'm putting this there, and this on it. Obviously that's too low, so just lift it up. And then bring that forwards. And with. Yeah. As well as that, I'm going to be lifting up my primary light and pointing it down to be pointing directly on top of the shoot instead of at it. So instead of casting a nasty shadow going across the piece, it's going to be shooting straight down on top of it. So yeah, so this is what it's looking like at the moment. Obviously we've got that line of action coming this way with my line of buttons cutting across it. So yeah, I'm going to go grab my camera and we'll see how these photos turn out. So yeah, I will play around with it and I'll get back to you when anything big happens or anything big changes. So yeah, let's get to it. Bye! Alright, so I think that's how I ended the last. I think that transition worked. So I'll come around here where it's a little bit lighter so you can see me a bit better. There we go. So I have taken a load of photos with the white shirt, and then I have removed the white shirt entirely and picked up some books from our bookshelf. I picked up these two Richard Osman books here. I always think hardback books look a little bit nicer than paperback books. Yeah. I've kind of lost my train of thought there. Give me a sec. So, what we're saying there is I removed the shirt and I took some pictures using the books to kind of like prop it up and kind of act as like a secondary prop in a sense, as well as propping it up, no pun intended. I'm using the bookcase as a backdrop where it's all blurred out so you can't see the books themselves, and just to kind of give off this idea of person who would wear this watch would be an intelligent person, would be someone who does a lot of reading, because I feel watches do tend to give off that vibe of intelligence and intellectuality. So I've tried to reflect that in having our bookcases as a backdrop for a couple of shots. So what I'll do is I will quickly show you the shots that I took of the ones with the white shirt. Boom, boom. And then I will also show you the photos that I took using the books and the bookcase as a background. So now what I'm going to do is I've completely cleared the table and I'm going to restart again using my flannel. Now I've got two flannels which I think could work for this. So here they are. As you can see, one is entirely blue with different shades of blue and grey and white. And then the other one, which I think is the one that I'm going to go with, it has blue in it, but the primary colour is like the orange and the beige, with the blue being more of like a secondary colour to it. But then again, now that I look at it, I'm not sure, you know. But either way, the blue matches fairly well to the blue of the watch here. And obviously, with it being an orangey tone, the warmer browns and tans are going to be fairly complementary to it. Instead of a pair of brown shoes, I'm going to be using a pair of brown boots. I'm not sure if I'm going to do my belt or not, but yeah, so now I'm going to be using more earthy tones instead of the more clean cut stuff. Something else that I just wanted to talk about real quick before I get back to taking the photos is the idea of over-editing. And I do really feel like I over-edited the photos from last week's video, which is why you might have noticed that I haven't actually uploaded any of them onto my Instagram yet, because I do feel like I've over-edited them. So I'm going to try and re-edit them before I upload them onto my Instagram account, and also I'm going to really try my hardest to be a lot more subtle with my editing, because I have this way of editing that sometimes it really enhances an image, but then other times it really just makes it look terrible and makes it look so grainy and overly sharp. And for sometimes that's a really good idea, but for what I'm going for in product photography, it's not a good idea. So I do feel like that's something that I need to look at moving forwards, is my editing. However, that would be a different video talking about that, because that would be a very long video if I'm doing this and then talking about the edit as well. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the flannel on, get my boots from upstairs, and yeah, I'm going to continue with shooting. So yeah, I'll see you guys in a bit. By the way, do you like our alcohol shelf? This was Rachel's idea. She really likes the idea of having like a top shelf where our good alcohol goes. So we've got our gins and other alcoholic beverages. I don't know what I'm talking about. In a bit. And that is my time today. I will put up the photos that I've just taken from this shoot now. There you are. And I will catch you guys in the next video. I haven't quite decided what the next video is. I might actually get around to doing that video about talking about House of Dragon as a whole, but who knows. I will see you guys next week. But yeah, have a good one, guys. See you guys next week. Bye!